The season for a fresh cut is finally here with the sponsor of today's show, Manscaped. The leaders in below-the-waist grooming have just launched their 5th generation performance package with the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra. If you want the best stocking stuffer, go to manscaped.com. Use the code Chael. That's going to save you 20% and get you free shipping. Manscaped is a one-stop shop for all of your holiday needs. Guys, the Performance Package 5.0 Ultra makes the perfect gift. Featuring the Lawnmower 5.0 Ultra, guys, this is the crown jewel of holiday gifts. This electric razor's advanced skin-safe technology is a lifesaver, and it helps reduce nicks and cuts. And the fun doesn't stop there. Snag Manscaped's Beard Hedger Pro Kit and Handyman Electric Face Shaver, or grab the Weed Whacker 2.0 Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer. For our less hairy guys, pick up their new Shears 3.0 Nail Grooming Kit, or Manscaped's Boxers 2.0. They have got all men covered this holiday season. Get 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Chael when you go to manscaped.com, or just click on the link below. UFC 296, also known as the pay-per-view this Saturday, has 60% of the top 10 ranked fighters at 170 pounds. That's loaded. Do you think there's a reason? Is that a coincidence? Because I would follow this up by asking you, is Belal Muhammad the backup fighter for this fight? That is something that Belal not only would agree to do, but would like to do if he was asked. Belal's different than other guys, by the way. Muhammad is one of the few guys who could see the opportunity that might present itself. It's his opportunity anyway. So many guys would refuse to do that and go, no way, I've already earned this. Give me the build-up, give me the countdown, give me the trinket, give me everything right. I've already earned it. Why would I step in? And I'll tell you why Muhammad would do it the way that his mind works, because it would force a discipline. It would force a training camp. It would force a marker and a weigh-in and a travel and the mental and all the preparation, which would take whatever advantage these guys get in terms of momentum, it would take, and it would level that field. And that is how his mind would work. So I'm just asking you, is he the backup for it? And Muhammad had one interesting thing that has happened that stood out for me, and I never got resolution to it. The night before the last pay-per-view in Abu Dhabi, so that pay-per-view was October 22nd. For perspective, that was the rematch, Volkanovski and Islam. There was a grappling event. It was done on the Friday, October 21st, and Muhammad was on that card. He was scheduled to go out and compete in grappling, and I knew why he was doing that. I knew why he's staying active and busy and getting a match, and it was all the reasons that I just laid out. But he pulled out. Somebody else went in, and he was there. And perhaps he thought better of it. Perhaps it wasn't his decision at all. And somebody else said to him, hey, don't do an event where the only thing they're allowed to do is break or damage one of your body parts. Don't do that. That could have happened. Generally what happens when somebody pulls out is they were sick and or injured. That just never became part of the story, and I feel that it would have. But I am still left to wonder, not all these guys go through the same wave of, oh, here's my x-ray. Oh, here I am at the hospital to prove it, right? They provide an alibi as though we weren't going to believe them in the first place. I don't think Muhammad would do that. So there is a chance that he had something that was ailing him. And I share that with you because I do believe that he will be front row. I do believe the announcement will be made after the fight that he is next. But when I ask you if he's the backup, whenever you have a pay-per-view card, part of the recipe, and it took the UFC a couple of lumps to figure this out, whatever weight is your main event, you put a feature match at that same weight class. And that does multiple things. It provides advertising and marketing. So if you need to break up that feature match to take one of those guys and move them to the main event, you're elevating and promoting a guy that has been marketed. He's been promised. He's been built. He's been shined up. Not to mention, takes all the excuses away from the fighters. Like booking fights in the public, right? They all bang their chest. Anybody, give me a shot. And then behind the scenes, man, they don't want it. So it takes those excuses away when the guy's there, when the guy's trained, when his licensing is done, when he's on weight. I'm just sharing for you that a piece of the recipe that you will see every single time, and you just perhaps haven't noticed it, is whatever weight class is featured in the main event of a pay-per-view, that same weight class will be featured within the main card. But we got 60%, right? We have 6 athletes from that weight class on the featured portion of Saturday's card. So, if Muhammad is not the backup fighter, okay, who is? And make sure you understand, I'm not suggesting for you that they have somebody else that's going to be revealed at the weigh-in. If it's Muhammad, that will be revealed at the weigh-in. But that's unlikely. I don't think he was asked. I think he would have said yes if he was asked. I don't think he was asked. I think that would have been a redundancy. We have 4 other featured welterweights. We have 4 backups on the card. We don't need a 5th. You're the number 1 contender. Stay the number 1 contender. We'll get to you in a minute. But whoever the backup is, right, it's never going to be revealed to you guys. Unless it's needed. But it's decided. Of course it is. Dana White knows right now if Colby and or Leon was to be scratched. He knows right now who he's going to go to put into a main event. So, I'm asking you, who do you think it is? I mean, that's a wildly unique situation. Do you just go to the highest ranked guy? Nah, I don't know about that. No, I don't think that would be the litmus test. I do not think that would be the criteria. Now, that might be the guy that you go to, but I don't think you're going to go to him because of that. So who would you go to? And I'm not sold on the idea that it's the same answer, right? Now, this will stay private and we'll never get it. But I'm not positive that Dana, who has that answer, I'm not positive it's the same answer. For example, if Colby's the one that pulls out, so it's Leon who needs the opponent, I would see where Ian Gary would be the most enticing matchup. You had to do this. You had to convince the world. You had to keep those parties going and all these buddies that are getting together and however it is you're doing it. You want to keep those plans intact. And you have one day. You have from the weigh-in to the fight. I believe Ian Gary is the most sellable replacement for Leon. I don't believe that for Colby. I think for Colby, it's Rakhmonov. This is what I think. Rakhmonov versus Stephen Thompson, I did not realize this until this morning, is number 5 versus number 6. Who do you think number 5 is? I thought it was Wonder Boy. It's not. It's Rakhmonov. Rakhmonov has come into number 5, but he's still taking on number 6. And I tell you guys till I'm blue in the face that the rankings don't matter. They don't matter in the aspect that the fighters look at them. They matter. There's a reason we have them. Like if they didn't matter, if that was a true and wholly just statement, then you would tell me, okay, Chael, you have a magic wand to do away with the rankings. Is that what you do? No, I would not. But when you have number 5 versus number 6, and I go over to DraftKings, and I see that that's almost a 4-1 spread. Number 5 versus number 6, that should be even money. That should be $1.50 in a special circumstance. Number 5 versus number 6, and you have a 4-1 spread. It's a very interesting spot. Rakhmonov is on the cusp of greatness. Physically and ability-wise, it appears he's already there. But he must have the mandate from you. And he's going to be taking on one of your all-time most loved guys. It's hard to get over in that situation. And when I look at Gary and Luke, I'd love to ask you the same question. Now, in this situation, Luke is 9 and Gary is 10. So you would think if we went by the rankings that number 9 would be the favorite over number 10 because those rankings are so important and they're so accurate, but it's not. It's 5-1 on some dirt sheets. If you go to the pros and you go over to DraftKings, it's tighter than that, but it's still 400 and 400 plus favoring Gary. So, that matchup is so wildly interesting to me because they know each other so well. I spoke to somebody earlier today that told me, well, if it's Gary versus Luque and you're picking Gary, you're basically saying that you think that Gary is a better striker than Luque. And there is such a belief that Luque is a stand-up fighter, and he does so well on his feet. There is such a belief of that. If you were to just go stare at his record, though, Underground Forum, SureDog.com, something like that, it will jump off the page how many submissions this guy has. If Luque gets locked around your neck in 3 different ways, but if he gets his hands locked around your neck, it is likely a curtain call. But I don't know that I see that as a stand-up battle. But I also haven't seen Gary show any signs that he's easy to get to and take down. I think that's an interesting match. I think it's a lot closer to 4-1. But who is the backup fighter? Who's the backup fighter? We see that come to fruition all the time. So it's not a topic that we can just dismiss. From today to weigh-ins, from today to showtime, there's many a slip. And who amongst them could be elevated and pulled up, not to mention, so first off, you're getting the call, but then you're going to take that call. You're going to step up. You're going to step into a 5-round environment when you were ready for 3. It's a big ask. I would think if you're in the top 10, I would expect you're ready at all times, but they're not. Of those 4 killers I just talked about, and I won't name them, but 2 of those guys will bitch if you ask them. 2 that I know of right now, but without even having to ask them, 2 of them will blink. Do you think all 4 would blink? It's an interesting spot. And when you get your feet put to the fire, when opportunity knocks and you say no, that is where you, the audience, is forced in front of everything else to concede to a guy like me that rankings don't matter.